it's Andrea, the South African girl living in Canada. Welcome to episode 3 with Dr Daniela Steyn. It is so good again to be with you. How are you?
Thank you for being with me, Andrea.
Awesome.
This is lovely. I'm doing very well, thanks.
Oh, I'm glad. Are you still training hard?
I'm training hard, always. I think that's part of me. I'll never come to you after a race and say, oh, I'm done training. I'll just get up the next morning and go again.
Maybe there's going to be one day where she's like, I'm hanging up my running shoes, but I don't think so.
My husband would love that, but not yet. Not yet.
Awesome. So today what I wanted to get into was a question that comes through quite a bit, and I think maybe even you get this question asked quite a bit. Prescriptions. So you're immigrating from whichever country and you have an illness, whether it's cancer, diabetes, or whatever it is, and you are on, what is the word? Chronic medication,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you are moving countries and now you need to have that same medication in the next country. How does this whole process work and how do we do this? Help us.
We have medication in Canada. We have all the medication in Canada.
We do.
So don't worry. We have you covered. All the big pharmaceutical companies that we have in South Africa, we have in Canada as well. So you'll be covered. However, medication is more expensive in Canada. Canada is one of the countries with the most expensive medication. So it is worth your while to get a 6-month prescription. So in South Africa, you can show them your flight tickets that you are flying, and then you can get permission to get a 6-month prescription. So you can talk to your doctor, get a 6-month prescription, go to the pharmacy, show them that you're flying, then you can get 6 months, and I would really recommend that. Then once you are here, or if you didn't do that, you can really get medication anywhere. And I've often had people from out of country bring me their prescriptions and I will renew their prescriptions. I will do it in a safe way. My college might not allow me to give a lot of opioids or sleeping pills or things, so I might do it in a safe way, and I might not give you a 6-month prescription. I might just give you a 1-month prescription. But you can get everything here. So the first thing is showing your current prescription to your new doctor, so your doctor can see what you're on.
Yes.
The other thing is, if you have permanent residency in Canada, then you get covered. So your doctor's visits are covered, but your medication is not covered.
Okay.
So your medication you're going to pay for out of pocket, depending on province. So we just had 5 years or so ago in Ontario, we started covering children. So children's medication is covered and seniors above 65 is covered. But then in between, your doctor visit will be free, but your medication not.
Okay.
So then what often happens is people will rather get generic medication than brand name because it's less expensive. It doesn't mean that we don't have access to brand name. You can ask the pharmacist that you want the specific brand that you used to use in South Africa. Very commonly, we will have that available. Then in your health plan might be covering your medication. So the government, in here it's Ontario Health, in Alberta it's Blue Cross, so there's different health plans. They typically cover the doctor's visit, not the medication, but if you through your work have Sun Life or a type of health insurance, they might be covering your medication.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Special needs children, if they have specific tubes for feeding, things that break generally, bring extras of all of that stuff so that you don't have to pay the prices when you come here. Be prepared. So come with extras, and I think that's really vital.
Yes, to be prepared, and then also to kind of have an open mind, to be flexible, once you get here, to find yourself a doctor as quick as possible. Show your doctor your prescription, even though you don't need refills yet. If it happens that something breaks, you need some refills, you have that person to go to, that you're not then running in a crisis mode, but you've already established that relationship. Your doctor knows you.
Yeah, fantastic. That's so true. So I think another thing that people ask is they're coming over and they have somebody that's special needs in their family. And I get very excited. I actually did a YouTube video about things to know about schooling in Canada, and I cover a little bit about special needs, not a lot, but there is information there. And what is great in Canada is that most special needs children are integrated into a mainstream school system.
That is absolutely phenomenal. I was so surprised because we were not used to that in South Africa. And then when my son was 4 years old in junior kindergarten, he had a kid with Down syndrome in his class. And they came and they explain to the kids what it is like to have Down syndrome. What does it feel like to talk like that? So they'll give all of their marshmallows in the mouth and say, try to talk with marshmallow in your mouth.
Amazing.
This is what your friend feels like. This is how your friend talks. So there's no one pointing at that kid saying, oh, you talk different, because the teacher explained from day one, this is how they speak. So from a very young age, you really learn empathy in a completely different way if you are friends with this kid with high needs.
Yes.
So if a kid comes past on a wheelchair, they don't look away. They're able to play with that kid on the wheelchair, because those are My daughter had a kid in her class who just was an Arabic speaking kid, no English, but then also the child was blind. So then they would explain, how hard it is. This is the basic words in Arabic, because the child can only hear you, the child can't see you. But then even though he was blind, even though he had no English, he was allowed in public school, integrated with an English second language teacher by his side. So yes, it is. I've really been amazed at the amount of resources and English second language. That's something people often ask me about. What am I going to do? My kid doesn't speak English.
Oh, right.
But in Heritage Glen, where my kids were, we celebrated 1 year that there was 70 different, like 70 different languages represented in that school.
That's great.
And I used to volunteer at the school all the time, and then I'll see a little kid coming to the office speaking in Russian, going, and the lady, the secretary, has no idea what she's saying. And then she's like, okay, but who's your aide? And she'll look, okay, your aide is that person, and she'll get that person from a different class. And then so it is just incredible how you can come off the plane and not speak a word English, and the system is so robust that it will assign someone to you for that English second language classes, and an aide that you can have with you that can translate from Russian to English to tell the lady at the office what you want.
That's
that
amazing.
You need her to call your mom.
And I think the whole thing that I love about Canada, and just how the whole system works, is that you kind of set up for success. They want you to be successful. And a great thing is that if your kids are really small, when they come over, trust me, they are speaking Canadian within 2 weeks. It's amazing how quickly they pick up the language. And if they are even South African or Australian or British, they will come over, they will start to move and turn and twist their words that they are fully Canadian. They don't want to stand out when they're young. They want to blend in, so they want to speak Canadian.
And I've been here for almost 15 years, and people hear my South African accent all the time. But then my kids were born here.
Yes.
But still, with little kids, you don't hear that accent, because my kids do speak Afrikaans with a Canadian accent, though.
Are you kidding?
So I get that from my nephews all the time. When my kids speak Afrikaans to them, they're just laughing and saying that they're speaking Afrikaans.
It's hilarious.
With a Canadian
and you even find, like, I'm a yoga teacher. When I teach yoga, somebody said to me, you know that you're Canadian when you teach yoga? And I was like, are you kidding, really? And I think we learn to articulate because you're trying to put somebody into a pose, or you just want to make life easy for everybody. Like, we know we don't say water. No one knows what water is somehow. So we say water because it's easier. So guys, just get with the groove, Don't stress about it. Your kids are going to be Canadian. It's fine.
Kids are so resilient.
I think what I just wanted to bring up is that, from a special needs point of view, there is so much help and support in Canada. And in different provinces, obviously it's very different everywhere. So I'm not speaking specifically to Ontario. And I think that's for the medical practice as well. It's different everywhere. But in terms of special needs, even if it's things like respite camp, kids can go away to a camp, and you can have a break for a weekend as parents. And these kind of things are covered for. You can tap into different funding, etc. So look into that.
Something else which I really love about Canada is how inclusive we are of people on all the different spectrums considering mental health, specifically addressing children's mood, children's anxiety. I learned so much, which I did not learn in my initial medical schooling in South Africa, but then here to help kids with anxiety. If a child comes to me with tummy pain, to always be thinking about anxiety. If a child comes with headaches, to always be thinking about bullying. So to always be addressing the mental health aspect. Something I received a lot of teaching years also to addressing autism. We know autism is on a spectrum. It's not as we previously thought that, yes, you're autistic or you're not, but all of us are somewhere on that spectrum. And to really hold space for that kid in mainstream schools, as you said, to be able to participate in all the different sports and to find that sport for your kid. Because you might have found in South Africa that your kid, because of his autism, couldn't easily participate in sports. Here you will find sports. You'll find in my kids' gymnastics class and their swim class, you will find when you enroll your kids, you'll tell them, my kids have these needs, will they be a good fit for your program? And you will find a program for your kids where your kids will be able to find joy, to find that fulfillment, to find connection. Yeah,
it's great. And it's so top of mind, like you say. The teachers are equipped. They're like, everyone talks about mindfulness, anxiety, autism. Like it's there. And I think just to give it the platform that it needs, it's just amazing.
And they teach the children. If I look at my little kids who are now 11, 9 and 5, they get taught about these things at school. So also children are aware to create that space for their friends when their friend is having a breakdown, to just not think, oh, that's a ridiculous kid having a tantrum, but to able with empathy see it from that person's perspective. That person is having a hard time coping.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, in your experience here, how many times have you seen people on wheelchairs driving across the road to school, going to the library? So many electric wheelchairs, like, it's amazing. And these kids and even small people going to schools, like, so many different types of children. It's mind-blowing, and it's so encouraging.
Yeah, so that you don't have to be ostracized, but that you can be part of the community.
So yeah, we love Canada, and we're very excited about what it holds, and I'm sure you will be maybe finding your way to Canada. We hope to meet you at some point.
Oh, for sure.
So this was episode 3. I don't think it should be our last one. We said it would be, but watch out for more of these. So if you like what you saw today, I'm sure you found it useful. I love having these chats with Daniela. It's always so great. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the little yellow notification bell. If you do that, you'll just constantly get the updates as I upload the videos. So have an amazing day. Thank you again, Daniela. It's always great. Let's do lunch.
Yes, let's do it.